Hello, sir. My name is Cadet Sawalski, and today our group consists of Cadet Hill, Cadet Rowley, Cadet Saver, Cadet Sexauer, and myself. We will be presenting 4 candidate solutions to solve the problem of radicalization in the European refugee crisis.
So based on this understanding of the system, we came up with 4 main goals, also based on our stakeholder analysis. 1, assimilate refugees. So we need to accept them into society and decrease their risk of marginalization and radicalization. 2, increase the security of the host nations and the refugees themselves. 3, provide humanitarian aid. Provide subsistence for the refugees. Make sure they can survive. And 4, educate the refugees. We need to increase their human capital so they're valuable members of the EU. So if you look at our metamap here, it seems complex. However, it can be broken down pretty simply. So in the top right corner, we have our relationship between refugees and radicalization. So that's the relationship we're trying to study in this, and we're trying to apply enough leverage onto some part of the system to fix that problem of refugees becoming radicalized. So refugees also impact various countries, as seen in the left side, such as the countries of origin and the host countries that are accepting them. Now EUCOM, that's us, works with the host countries in the EU as well as third-party organizations to provide relief efforts, as you can kind of see in the bottom, and those efforts are mainly focused towards humanitarian aid, but also assimilating refugees into society and overall limiting radicalization. But one important thing to look at when thinking about this is the socio-political structure of these host countries. So that's their population attitude towards refugees, their media attitude, whether or not they're extremist and militant groups, how they conduct relief efforts, and what sort of security they provide for both the society as a whole and for refugees. So if we can understand sort of how all these things work together, then we can better understand the whole system.
Evening. Mirror, mirror on the wall, is this not the most perfect system of them all? Well, technically you haven't solved it yet. Captain Cadell? You were saying? What it means is you haven't solved it yet, but you can solve it. All you have to do is choose a candidate solution. Go on. So, just sit back and relax, my good sir, because it's time for you to choose an eligible candidate solution. And here they are!
Candidate solution number 1. In order to reach our goal of educating refugees, one potential solution would be to establish education centers for school-aged children. Our vision is a 50,000 square foot building, which, for reference, is slightly smaller than an American football field. It would have 18 separate classrooms, and construction would take a year. It would hold 4 classes per classroom each day. In an effort to increase security, candidate solution number 1 suggests that EUCOM should invest in big data. This requires a significant increase in intelligence gathering and psychological operations. The main costs for this effort include an increase in technology and establishing more thorough surveillance equipment and techniques. With a more effective system, EUCOM would be able to collect more information on radical terrorist groups and hopefully halt their efforts. For providing humanitarian aid, EUCOM can have refugees trained and serve as janitors or cleanup crew around the camps. This solution not only provides a way to make the refugee camps healthier and cleaner, but also allows for the refugees to gain job experience. In order to better assimilate refugees, we recommend creating a hotline that both refugees and citizens can use to report suspicious activity. This should contribute to a bond between the citizens and refugees as they raise awareness and fight terrorist groups hand in hand. For cost analysis, you can see the breakdowns on the screen of each subset of candidate solution number 1. In total, this solution would cost $1,442,879,000 for the first year and approximately $14,042,652,000 over the course of 5 years. Candidate solution 2!
Another possible solution to this educational gap this crisis has created is for EUCOM to create a group of servicemen and women to provide teaching services in refugee camps. This solution would not only provide an education to thousands of refugees, it would also improve relations with refugees and U.S. Armed Forces. Similar to Solution 1, if EUCOM can track the supply lines of terrorist bomb-making materials, it may make it easier to catch them before it is too late. Creating a database to track explosive-making materials or gaining access to Europe's bomb data system will help us stop terror attacks. This will also create an atmosphere of camaraderie and intelligence sharing between countries allied with us. With the influx of refugees, this has placed Europeans' healthcare quality on the line. In order to minimize the number of refugees waiting at the doctor's office, UCOM could send medical personnel to provide refugees with vaccines and medical services. This would help stop the spread of diseases in refugee camps. To assimilate refugees into the population of host nation countries, UCOM can create a pro-refugee propaganda program. Portraying refugees in a positive light will help citizens to accept them more in their neighborhoods and workplaces. This solution would cost approximately $1.5 billion to implement, but its goals are to meet your needs and solve this problem.
Candidate solution number 3.
For candidate solution number 3, alternative number 1 would be a scholarship program for approximately 1,000 refugees worth $30,000 each. Alternative number 2 would be to have a UN sponsorship program in vetting. This would align refugees with families or successful personnel in the new country that would get the refugees situated and help them assimilate into their new locations. Alternative number 3 would be to have a job education program available to refugees with the understanding that only approximately 40% of refugees would be eligible for this though due to age and desire, and it would cost approximately $15,000 to educate each refugee for approximately 400,000 refugees every year. Our fourth and final alternative would be to have community field days in which the refugees would get the chance to have a relaxing and non-intensive opportunity to meet the local community and enjoy time with friends and family.
Solution 4.
In efforts to provide language training, Candidate Solution 4 provides language training which is to include in-class instruction to refugees in need. Projected cost for 1 year is $1 billion. In efforts to improve security, increased personnel acting as border control and security can relieve the large influx of incoming refugees. Projected cost for 1 year is $2.5 billion. To support humanitarian efforts, providing clean water can aid in quality of life for refugees at the price of $88 million per year. In efforts to assimilate refugees, the construction of a database to match refugees to families can aid in this process. Startup fees contribute to the $1 million projected costs, with subsequent years at $500,000 due to maintenance. Over a 5-year span, the estimated cost is approximately $17.9 billion for this candidate solution.
1, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3.